New Balance just reported another massive year. Sales grew 19% to $9.2 billion. That is the fifth consecutive year of double digit growth. And here is what makes that impressive. This is happening while the overall sneaker market is slowing down, and while brands like Nike are struggling. So, this is not just growth, this is market share shift. Now you might be wondering, how does a 120-year-old sneaker brand suddenly become cool again? The answer is timing and strategy. Nike made a major strategic pivot over the last few years. They leaned heavily into direct to consumer. They pulled back from wholesale partners like Macy's, Foot Locker, and Dick's Sporting Goods. And that decision created empty shelf space. Shelf space is power in retail. And New Balance walked right into it. At the same time, Nike slowed down on innovation. Product cycles got repetitive, energy faded. New Balance did the opposite. They invested in performance technology. They leaned into new silhouettes, and they brought back their older designs at exactly the right moment. The chunky 1990s dad sneaker trend came roaring back. TikTok loved it, Gen Z embraced it, and suddenly, what used to feel uncool felt authentic. That is a key word here, authentic. New Balance did not try to become something else. They stayed at the intersection of athletics, fashion, and music. They partnered with designers, they worked with streetwear brands, they created cultural relevance without abandoning performance. Now, let's be clear. Not every New Balance sale is a lost Nike customer, but what this tells us about today's consumer is important. Brand loyalty is weaker than it used to be. If the product does not excite them, they will move. And that shift is happening faster than ever. In some ways, New Balance benefited from good timing, but they were prepared for it. They understood the trend cycles. They saw nostalgia building, and they had the right product ready. Now, here is something interesting. Unlike most of its competitors, New Balance is private. We only get high level financial updates once a year, and based on what leadership has said, there is no urgency to go public. They do not need capital. They are not backed by private equity looking for an exit. That gives them something powerful: patience. Now, let's talk about direct to consumer. You might be thinking, wait a second, did Nike go all in on DTC and then walk it back? Yes. And New Balance is approaching it differently. They are growing their DTC business, but not at the expense of wholesale. They still value their retail partners. And this is where the strategy becomes nuanced. DTC gives them direct consumer data. It helps them spot trends earlier. It strengthens their brand control, but wholesale gives them reach, scale, visibility. It is not about choosing one over the other. It is about balance. And this is exactly where a lot of brands struggle. This is where Xena comes in. Because growth today is not just about product, it is about channel strategy, distribution mix, consumer insight. At Xena, we help brands understand where demand is shifting, whether it is wholesale, marketplace, or DTC. We analyze consumer behavior, trend velocity, and competitive shelf dynamics so brands can move before the market does. Because what happened here was not accidental, it was a brand capitalizing on a distribution gap, a cultural moment, and a competitor misstep. And that combination is rare. Now looking ahead, New Balance has a goal to hit $10 billion in annual sales. If they maintain the growth rate they have delivered over the last 5 years, they could cross that mark as early as the end of this year. The bigger story, though, is this. This is proof that even in a slowing category, growth is possible. But only if you innovate when others pull back. Only if you stay culturally relevant without losing your identity. And only if you understand that shelf space, whether physical or digital, is an opportunity someone else is always ready to take. That is what New Balance did. And right now, it is working.